25 years ago, the entire 50,000 population of the Ukrainian town of Pripyat was evacuated within 3 hours.
Lyosha, could you please step aside? I'm working and you're getting in my shot. Thank you.
They left most of what they had here, as they were told they were leaving only for a couple of days. But none of them has ever returned. The last thing they saw upon leaving their hometown was the 4th block of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, devastated by a powerful explosion.
Where are we going?
We need to go to Pripyat's post office. Recently I received a notification to pick up a letter here in Pripyat.
That's impossible. That post office hasn't been working for 25 years. I don't think it's for real. Well, show me. It's strange, but according to this stamp, this really has come from here.
Do you know where this post office is?
Yes, I know. All these trees that you see, they've all grown since the accident. And right now we're going to be passing the house where I was born.
We came to the Chernobyl exclusion zone to investigate a very strange story. This place has been deserted for a quarter of a century, but recently some people started receiving post notices telling them to pick up letters at this post office in Pripyat. I'm holding one of those here, and indeed the stamp here proves that it came from the ghost town.
Frankly speaking, I do not know what to look for. These notices have no addresses nor names of those who had sent them.
You know, honestly speaking, I don't think we're going to find anything here. Most of the things that remained here and in the apartments were later buried. They didn't keep them because they were very radioactive. And the rest was stolen by scavengers.
Look, here's a letter, which someone failed to send from here. And there is a photo inside.
Lucky you. All the times I've been here, I've never seen anything like this.
Do cell phones work here?
They work at the nuclear power plant, and sometimes they work here.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Алло, кто это?
Hello, who are you calling?
Hi, I'll be late from work tonight. Can you pick our daughter up from kindergarten?
Простите, вы кому звоните?
Excuse me, who is it? Whom are you calling?
I beg your pardon. I must have dialed the wrong number.
Понятно.
I don't get it.
Our investigation brings us to one of Pripyat's kindergartens, and this one is truly a horrifying scene. Most of the things one can see here have been left untouched ever since the catastrophe. And the site which gives probably the best description and most dramatic one of the Chernobyl tragedy is that children's toys are laying literally side by side with military gas masks.
Это мой родной детский
This
сад.
is my kindergarten.
Я сюда ходил.
I used to go here.
В Припяти вообще было много детей.
There used to be many children in Pripyat.
Сюда на строительство станции съехали
Specialists from all over the
специалисты со всей
Soviet Union came here
страны. В
to
основном
operate the nuclear power station,
молодые люди.
mostly young people.
Они считали, что
And they thought that
их ожидает
they were
счастливое
waiting for a
будущее.
bright future.
Так что здесь был такой...
So this town experienced a baby boom.
Противогазами, кстати, никто не пользовался, потому что...
No one used the gas masks, look out there,
Потому что,
because
когда произошла
the
авария,
catastrophe
было суббота,
happened on a Saturday.
их сюда завезли
They had been kept
противогазы,
here
как
and
здесь ясно.
were left untouched.
Слушай, а в том письме, которое мы нашли, что...
What was in that letter you found?
Знаешь, тут фотография какая-то.
There is a photograph inside.
Вот, посмотри.
Here, have a look.
Ну так, судя по почерку,
It seems it was written by a child, a small girl.
здравствуй. Я очень
Hi there.
обрадовалась твоему
I was
письму.
so glad having received your letter, so I decided to reply at once.
My mom got me a new doll. She's so beautiful that I'm sometimes afraid to play with her. When I go to school in the morning, I put her by the window and make a bed for her in the evening. I love her dearly. The weather has already been very warm here. We'll be having a holiday soon. My parents and I will go to a rally. We will be inflating balloons. And after that, there will be a concert in the House of Cultural Activities. My sister will be dancing there. Even though she's small, she's already a great dancer. We're missing you very much. Please come and visit us in the summer.
We're missing you very much.
Приезжай к
Please
нам
come
летом.
visit us in the summer.
Знаешь, в этом письме упоминается празднование
It
1 мая
mentions
в
the
Доме
1st May
культуры.
events in the Pripyat House of Culture, and kids from this kindergarten were to perform at a concert there.
А когда было написано письмо?
When was that letter written?
Ты знаешь, судя по штемпелю...
Well, the
на
date on
конверте
the envelope
здесь,
says it was meant to be
аккурат
sent
накануне катастрофы.
just the day before the catastrophe.
On the eve of the catastrophe, many celebrations had been planned for Saturday and Sunday. They always schedule wedding celebrations and children's concerts for the weekend. Even when the tragedy happened, we didn't call off the festive events. The children were breathing this air as it was a hot day and the events were out in the open. Many people were in the parks, and I know that there were weddings in the House of Culture. In the end, we were informed that it was very serious and that we were to go home and pack up for evacuation.
May the 1st was one of the biggest communist holidays in the Soviet Union, the Labor Day. Pripyat's House of Culture still has a collection of posters with Soviet leaders. They were meant to be carried at a traditional demonstration, and this stage over here was meant to become a venue for a holiday concert.
Алексей,
Alexei,
я тут нашел кое-что.
look what I found.
Костюм пожарного.
It's a fireman's suit.
Как ты считаешь,
Could it be that it belonged to one of those firefighters who fought the blaze at the nuclear power plant?
Да нет, нет.
Absolutely not, no.
Они же почти все погибли.
Most of them died,
А одежда была такой
and their gear was
радиоактивной,
so
что её
radioactive
сразу уничтожили.
that it was destroyed almost immediately afterwards.
Ты знаешь, тут был
You know, there used to be
театр,
an
я думаю,
amateur
может, это
theater
так.
here. Maybe it's theirs.
У меня такое ощущение, что мы
To be
застыли.
honest, I feel we're stuck.
У тебя есть какие-то
Have you got
мысли,
any
куда мы
ideas
можем
where we
сходить?
could go next?
Well,
Тут была
There
библиотека.
used to be a library here. We could check out the
Там могла
reader's
остаться
profile
библиотека
cards.
Знаешь, это
You know,
был очень красивый
This
город.
city was very beautiful
Его, кстати, даже создавали
and was
как
meant to
такой
be
образец
kind of a role model for others.
такая вершина.
Like the best place a communist society could ever build, perfectly planned and constructed. Pripyat was meant to be a paradise for those building communism.
Wait a minute. I found a note inside this picture book. It looks like a page from someone's diary. It is dated April the 25th, 1986. We're preparing an experiment at the station. We'll be bringing the reactor to a stop. We have some heated debates. Most of us are sure that we're doing everything right, but still cannot come to a conclusion. Times it seems we're talking on different languages.
There was a confrontation. Workers didn't want to keep the unstable reactor in operation. According to conversations and documentation that have been published already, the reactor was out of control. On the 25th of April, the employees were saying that it was faulty, but the bosses demanded that they should finish the experiment that they were performing on the unstable reactor.
I saw a picture in daughter's art book with the Babylonian tower. I joked that we have now finally built it.
I'm on top of Pripyat's tallest building. It is the best vantage point to see the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Straight after the disaster, it was covered by a steel lid called the sarcophagus. Underneath it are still tons of radioactive fuel and deadly levels of radiation. But if you don't know that, from here, Pripyat almost looks alive.
Now, the apartment we're looking for should be somewhere here.
Do you know where this drawing came from?
It appeared here several years ago, actually. I don't know. The elevator shaft is open, so be careful. We need to go this way.
Let's go.
Attention. 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 Dear comrades, the Council of the Town reports.
It was a usual Saturday, and it was a very warm day. We did not feel like studying. After the second lesson, teachers were called for a meeting and left us to ourselves. At that time, we heard that something bad had happened at the reactor. Many of the children's parents worked there, and they talked about what they had heard from them. I learned that there had been a blaze at the station, and several people were injured. But we could not imagine how serious it was. We thought that a fire was nothing to be afraid of. At school, we were taught that atomic energy is the safest in the world.
I was still a kid when the tragedy happened. We played outdoors, went to the rooftop, and saw the blaze at the station. There was smoke coming out of the building from the explosion. Radiation levels were already extremely high. Of course, everyone, young and old, was exposed to huge radiation doses. Oh, it still works.
There's almost nothing left here. Can you look through your archives? Maybe there is some information about this person there.
Just a second. Yes. Yes, I have something. He was one of those who was supposed to be performing an experiment at the station, which means that during the moment of the explosion, he should have been there. All of the workers who were working at the 4th block were immediately sent to a hospital, as they were severely irradiated. We could go to the hospital. Maybe we can find something there.
That is a good idea. Wait a minute. What about his family?
I don't know. I have no information on them.
The injuries were different, but the majority were exposed to third or fourth radiation levels and received third or fourth degree burns. One patient died of burns. The others were treated at our medical facility, and then they were brought to Moscow. Those with the fourth level of radiation were in shock, disoriented, and the rest.
The injured are being brought here from the power plant. They are all covered in radioactive dust and ash. We are receiving strong doses here too, and we are completely unready for what has happened. I don't believe in all this. It just cannot be happening. This is real hell.
What's that?
A note. I found it inside a patient record card.
We need to leave.
What's happening?
We are leaving. Please make your decision quicker. The radiation levels are very high here.
Leszek, please tell me, what is this cross doing there?
It's a protective cross. There are 4 of them in the Ukraine, and they form a square. In the south, in the east, and in the west. This is the northern one. Does your cell phone work?
No, there's no signal whatsoever.
Well then, we're stuck.
Подержи, пожалуйста.
Here, hold this.
Тут рядом есть деревня.
There's a village not far from here.
Там пара стариков живет.
On the other side of the river, a few elderly couples live there.
Телефон.
They might have a radio
Ну
phone.
или в крайнем случае.
If not, then at least we can stay overnight.
As we walked through that field, I saw a herd of wild horses. Where have they come from?
They were brought here straight after the catastrophe in the 90s. It was an experiment to see how they would survive the radiation. And now they've grown into a huge population. The same happened to all the other animals. There's no people here. That's why they feel safe.
What is this village? Who lives here?
There's a couple of elderly people that live here.
Wait a minute, they were evacuated after the catastrophe, weren't they? Why are they here?
They were. Well, they came back. They resettled here of their own free will. Oh, hello, Matriona Nikolaevna.
Hello.
Hello there.
How do you live here on your own? There's no transportation or facilities.
They provide us with a free bus to the city when we need something from the market. It used to be once a month.
How often?
But now it's less often. This horse is used by everyone in the village when they need to carry something.
Can we sleep over there near the stove, maybe?
Yes, I will give you blankets and pillows.
We'll throw down a blanket or something and set ourselves up.
I still don't understand. Who sent me those post notices?
You remember the old man who ferried us across the river? Apparently, he's a postman. And once a fortnight, he cruises up and down the river and delivers mail.
So you think he did it?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe somebody else. Maybe it was a mistake.
It's interesting. It looked as a spooky mystery at first, but there's such an easy solution. Apart from the resettlers we have seen, do you think anyone will ever come back here?
I don't know. They said the sarcophagus they built in 1986 was temporary. They said it was temporary because it would last for 20 to 30 years. Now they're building a new one. This one's supposed to last 100 years. And you know what's funny? They also call it temporary. That means that both you and I and our children will be gone, and it'll still be standing there.
After all the walks through Pripyat, and having looked at these pictures, I still don't understand why you describe this town as beautiful. To me it looks like an ordinary Soviet town, typical buildings and planning. There were thousands of towns like that across the country.
It was beautiful because we lived here.
You know, I've been having this feeling that you just cannot let go of all that happened here. As if you continue fighting the zone.
How can I forgive it?
Maybe you should try talking to the zone.
How? It's not sending me letters.
Well, those I received were not directed to me either.
If they were not meant for you, then you would never have found them or read them in the first place.